What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with big news coming out for the markets going into tomorrow. Some big news about NIO and what you should be watching for when it comes to these different setups. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, and the offer ends very soon in just about 10 days from now. Anyways, for NIO, we have a falling wedge-like setup that is developing that does give us the possibility of seeing a bounce tomorrow, but NIO has to hold around this 4.4 area to get that move. I also want to see it try to break past 4.57. If we break through that, we could be looking for a rebound. However, I just want to make it very clear that the structure on NIO is still bearish. We've been making lower highs and lower lows, but the setup, okay, does have bullish potential if we get a confirmation breakout. So I'll be breaking down more information about this a little bit later on. I just want to mention a few more things just so you guys know for earnings. Okay, we have a very, very important earnings week. We have Verizon announcing earnings tomorrow, not to mention a few more like SAP after the market closes. Then for Tuesday, we have Spotify and UPS coming up before the market opens, not to mention Coca-Cola and GM. Coca-Cola is going to be a big one, so make sure you watch for that. Then we also have Tesla and Alphabet announcing earnings after the market closes. But just know that Tesla is going to be a big one. Whatever Tesla announces could cause crazy volatility for the EV sector, not to mention its own share price. So get ready for Tuesday. It's going to be a very big day. On Wednesday, we have AT&T, not to mention IBM. So lots of communication stocks and tech stocks, not to mention Ford. And that's pretty much it for the major earnings. Everything else is more minor. But just remember that Tuesday is going to be a very important day with Tesla announcing its earnings. This will have a big effect on NIO as well. For other things worth mentioning, there's not really much data coming out for Monday, July 22nd. We just have the 3 month and 6 month bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. Everything else is quite minor. There's also news coming out that NIO has its 18th or its 51st, power swap station in Europe, and once again, that's some bullish news. It also has the 16th in Norway, which is amazing news for them as they're continuing to grow in those different areas. And this is leading to a lot more exposure for them, a lot more growth, and a lot more revenue as time goes on. Now, in Europe, there are high tariffs, of course. It's not, ideal for NIO, but NIO is persevering. They're still trying to continue to sell in Europe, not really letting it affect them. So that's something else that's worth noting. That's actually out there to kind of make things more competitive, at least for European brands. They're making it harder for Chinese based companies, especially because of the fact that it's cheaper to manufacture there. So that's why there are higher tariffs over there, just to give the European locals an edge, right? The domestic production is like very different over there compared to China. So, anyways, there's also some news coming out that NIO Day 2024, excuse me, it's going to be held in Guangzhou. I may be saying that wrong, but that's something worth noting. There's been a lot of talk about this. We're going to be looking to see how it goes. This is what the event actually came out to be at. So this is good news. During NIO Day, NIO does tend to talk a lot about their models and hype up investors. So I can't wait to see what they end up announcing, at least this year. So as far as things go, NIO is also going to be beginning its deliveries for the ET9 in the first quarter of 2025. And we're going to get to see when they're going to be announcing NIO Day. I think we're going to be waiting for that for some time. But still, it's very, very bullish news. I can't wait to see what else they end up announcing. So that's going to be very, very huge. I can't wait to see what other models they talk about, any surprises, maybe some updates about the NIO phone. Pretty cool stuff in my personal opinion. Bank of America Securities gave us a neutral rating. There's not really much changing from that. Price price ratio is flat. And just know that Mondays tend to not be the strongest days. We're only green about 49% of the time, but we tend to be more green on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Now, volume was only at 22 million, so we need a big piece of news tomorrow to cause this wedge to play out. The setup is bearish. The setup is bullish, excuse me, but the current price action is a little bit more bearish. So I'm going to be watching this 4.4 area. If we hold this tomorrow, look for an attempt to rebound. We have a very, very nice looking falling wedge, and generally these falling wedges do lead to more upside. So we had a double top like structure, but if this is symmetrical, we'll be looking to see if we could get a big bounce right over here. And also watch and see if NIO could break 4.6. If that breaks, I think that NIO is going to get closer to $5. So watch and see if we get a break from this falling wedge. This could lead to a big bounce tomorrow. Watch for confirmation just to be safe. If we end up losing 4.4, I think there's going to be a risk of more downside. and we could be dipping all the way down to 4.25. But with this falling wedge, I'm hoping that we get a big bounce and we try to break past 4.6. Watch for confirmation. I'm not going to promise that you need to wait and see, but keep that in the back of your guys' minds. For other stocks out there, like Aapl, we're going to likely consolidate for a bit, but just notes that we're trying to hold 222. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually rebound a bit to where these EMAs happen to be to 226 and we get a retest of that. And we'll see if we reject up 226 or not, but look for a retouch up 226 and see if we get some kind of rejection or not moving forward. For SPY, we're on a bit of a downtrend, but as you guys can see, we're kind of testing this big white trend line. So I'm going to be looking for a retest. I think tomorrow we could actually try to retest the 550s. We'll see if we break through this or not, but I think that we're gonna like retest this. Then we might be looking for a rejection if it fails to break through that. But that's what the technicals are showing so far: a little bounce and then a reject. Look for 550, then maybe a big rejection off that tomorrow morning. Nvda, it's currently trying to base very, very close to this 118 area. Not sure why my line got adjusted right here. Sorry about that, guys. This 118 area. If we lose this, I'll be looking for a target of potentially this 116 area. It's going to be our next target on NVIDIA if that ends up failing on us. So make sure you watch these levels very, very closely, right? We have this 116 area as our next potential target if this ends up failing. If we do end up holding this, if we end up holding this key support right over here, Nvidia is going to be completely fine and we could be trying to rebound. I'm thinking that what might happen is we get another attempt to retest 122 and we just continue to consolidate for some time. I'm going to likely continue to range trade between 122 and 118. For others out there, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also trying to break out higher. We have a nice looking structure right over here with this nice accumulation. So I could be looking for about 68,000 as the next potential target. It's also forming a nice wedge. I think that this could actually break out higher. I think 68,000 plus is a nice target for Bitcoin. For the QQQ, just like SPY is on a bit of a downtrend, but I think we might try to rebound to retest a key area. We're having a lot of consolidation, and that historically tends to happen a lot between the area that we're at. That's going to be very close to this um, 474 area. So we are known for consolidating a bit here. So I think that there might be some consolidation, but we could actually retest this trend line first. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back up to retest the trend line, this 477 to 478 area. And then we could be looking for a rejection back down lower for our target of 472. But look for a little rebound in the morning and then possibly a rejection. That is the most likely possibility. And then lastly, we have, I'm just going to go over just a couple more. We have Tesla. Tesla will also attempt to rebound, most likely. I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla tries to get back to these EMAs over here. A retest of about 242.5 to 243.5, this area. Might try to rebound and then consolidate and maybe make a move back down lower. But look for that little rebound attempt. That's going to be very important for how Tesla ends up continuing to move. On top of all of this, that's it for at least the main five. For the IWM, this looks a little bit more bearish to me. I think that there's going to be a rebound attempt for 220, then a continuation lower. We still have this gap to fill down to 213. I would like to see us fill that gap before we can continue to bounce. So look for a little rebound and some consolidation back up to 220, then a move back down to 213 as the most likely possibilities. For Coinbase, we're looking more bullish, trying to break out right over here. Look for a retest of 262 and see if we get a rejection or not. But I think we might push a little bit higher for 262 to 265. Then we'll see what kind of reaction we get. Amazon's no different. It's continuing to downtrend, but there is this nice liquidity that's being drawn here. We have potential inverse head and shoulders. This could lead to a little pushback up to about 187. But we need to break past 186 first. That's where our 50 EMA happens to be. So I suspect we're going to be pushing for at least 185, then maybe 187, then maybe reject back down again. A little pop might come to Amazon, but then we'll see if it rejects right here. So look for a retest of this 185 to 187 area, and then we'll see if it rejects from there or not. Meta's kind of rejecting. It was trying to rebalance about 485, and now it's struggling to hold. We'll see if it tries to continue to get up higher. If we break past 485, we'll be looking for a target of 496. And if we fail to hold above 480, look for a move back down towards 467. My gut tells me it might consolidate a bit between 485 and 475 for some time, and then eventually drop lower. So watch for that very carefully. Microsoft is kind of dipping a little bit on a bit of a downtrend. We might retest our 50 EMA at 441, then possibly reject. So just be careful with that. Same thing with Google. We're on a bit of a downtrend. It may continue to just consolidate as you approach earnings. So I think we might see a lot of consolidation, and then earnings will come out, and that's going to cause a big move. So we'll just have to wait and see. AMC looks more bearish, could be targeting 4.8. GameStop might be heading for 24 flat. I think those are potential targets for downside for the memes. So that's what I'm seeing for now. We'll see if we get a big bounce on NIO depending on this falling wedge, if this is going to play out or not. This is technically a bullish setup. Even though we've been making lower highs and lower lows, NIO has potential to bounce. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. Anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow on the next one. NIO to the moon, and peace out.